Hey Narwhals, I'm your host Luke Narwhal, and welcome back to another weight loss video. Hope you enjoy. After growing up having huge portion foods, how do I train myself to eat smaller portions? I grew up having absolute huge portions when eating. It's something that has stuck with me as an adult. How can I train myself to not have large portions, get multiple rounds of food, and other unhealthy food behavior? I'm also wondering how to not make myself feel hungry constantly by eating less than what my body has been used to. Growing up, I was always forced to finish the food on my plate before I left the table. Our plates were always filled to the brim, with food seeping over. As a kid, I blame my parents for teaching me unhealthy food behavior, but I'm 25 now. I acknowledge it is now on me as an adult to fix the behavior I was learned. I am ready to better myself and lose this weight, but I'm not sure how to start. I got small bowls that hold 8 ounces. I don't weigh my food, but I try to never eat more than 8 ounces in a sitting, as that is generally a portion size. At first, I would eat 3 bowls, but I tried to eat less and less until I now only eat 8 ounces of food in a sitting. I'm still overweight, but I've dropped about 170 pounds and kept it off. Use smaller plates and add a lot of low-calorie things to your meals like salad, broccoli, mushrooms, etc. If you drink a lot of water before and while eating, it also helps to make your stomach feel full. Ultimately, you will feel like you're not done eating for the first few weeks and you will have to live with it. Your stomach is basically elastic, and by filling it all the way all the time, you have trained it to stay stretched out. It goes back to a smaller size after a while, but until then, you need to keep in mind that there's a feeling of not yet full attached to a big stomach. But we're all here for you as you go on this journey. You can do it. Also, my condolences on the wisdom teeth. The pain can suck. I feel this so much. When I first started, and even now sometimes, I feel like it's almost unfair that I have to eat a small dinner every night. Growing up, occasionally we would get Subway or Chick-fil-A for dinner, but that was kind of a novelty. The norm was more like as much casserole as you wanted, or a big pasta dish, or restaurant, Italian or steakhouse type food. Now, I'm usually eating smaller portions than even one of our novelty small meals. Small for me back then was a Chick-fil-A sandwich with large fries and a cookie. Now it is a grilled chicken sandwich with a small fry, and that is considered a treat night. Sometimes I do get grumpy and feel like being an adult is no fun because you have to have a small meal every day to not be overweight. I know some people hate them, but this is one way of having a cheat meal once a week that helps me. If I know I will get a big meal in X days, it helps me stick to the plan and be less grumpy about it. One night a week, I can eat whatever portion I want and go crazy. However, over time, I have found myself going less and less crazy. I also make sure to only do it at night, not all day. Because I have acid reflux, so I have to curtail it somewhat and keep it reasonable. Different things work for everybody, but if I have one meal a week that I can eat a large portion, it makes it much easier to stay on track the other 6 days. Start by increasing the portions of your non-starchy vegetables, greens, peppers, onions, mushrooms, broccoli, etc., to fill your stomach with lower calorie items. These are also high in fiber and will feel very filling. Eat until you are satisfied, but not stuffed. Your stomach will shrink and begin to request smaller portions, but it takes time. Deprivation usually leads to binging, so be careful with tiny portions. Volume eating or volumetrics might be helpful for you to look into. All of this, plus look up mindful eating techniques. Things like eating slow and not being distracted. For example, many of us have been trained to sit in front of a TV when we eat, and we end up eating more than we need to or beyond fullness, because you are not mentally present while eating. Personally, I started out by calorie counting my meals for a week without changing anything. This gave me an idea of what I was currently eating. It was a lot more than I thought it was. Then I started adjusting my meal sizes. It was really tough at first. I went over my initial goal for a month or two, but eventually I was able to lower my calorie count to what I wanted it to be at, about a third of what I was eating. It might help to set gradual monthly goals. After about 6 to 8 months of calorie counting, I was able to stop logging. From logging everything every day for months, I could better visualize my portion sizes, even without an app. I just had to retrain myself. Every now and then, I'll log a few days just to make sure that I'm still on track. So, take it slow. Set small goals for yourself. And if you end up having a bad day, don't sweat it. Pick it back up tomorrow. You got this. I am much older than you, but I only realized I'm a volume eater only last year. I also started journaling about my eating habits to realize that I actually eat more when I feel I worked really hard that day, or exercised hard, or encountered sad moments, stressful moments, lonely moments, etc., in order to reward or comfort myself in the evening. Once I realized how I was coping with various challenges life was throwing at me, I started devising ways to counteract that. Like many other folks have posted here, drink water before meals, eat lots of veggies. I consider non-starchy veggies all free calories and don't log them, and burn more calories than consuming by exercising every day, etc. If you start logging your journaling but fail after a while, don't despair. I failed a couple of times over the course of 3 years before finally getting it. I grew up in a household where you cleaned your plate regardless of how hungry you were or if you liked the food, and if you didn't want to finish it, you were guilt-tripped and had to stay at the table until you were done. Also, enough food was made so everyone could have 3 servings worth, and refilling your plate was pushed on you. Things I had to learn as an adult: 1. It gets easier over time. The first 2 weeks or so sucks, but your body adjusts to the smaller amount. You just have to push through it. 2. Weigh out and pre-portion your food, and only buy enough for the amount of servings that you need. 3. It's okay to walk away with food left on your plate. It's especially okay to not eat food that you don't like. 4. Sub in fruits and veggies. They're more filling and usually less calories. 5. It's okay to feel hungry as long as you're eating the amount of food that you need to eat to be healthy. Figure out your total daily energy expenditure and then how many calories you need to eat to lose X amount of pounds, and stick to that. Fill your time with other things and use a water calculator to see how much water you should drink each day and try and keep up with that. Especially drink a pint glass of water as soon as you wake up. How do I stop waiting for results and start living my life in the meantime? I'm a male, 30 years old, starting weight over 400 pounds last year, and current weight about 340. There are a lot of things I want to do with my life. I'm really far behind the societal curve because I spent the last 20 years of my life basically in isolation. I want to be a normal person doing normal things, but my weight and other factors are holding me back. I'm working on it really hard, and I am seeing results, but it's slow. Now, I know that's just the way it is when you're losing weight at about the 1% rate that you're supposed to lose it, and I know it's only going to get slower as I get smaller. I'm very grateful and appreciative of how far I progressed. I'm almost halfway there after all. My goal weight is 200 pounds. But I feel like my life is just on pause until I meet my goals. I don't enjoy anything anymore. None of my hobbies satisfy me, and anytime I do start to enjoy something for a minute, this fear creeps up that if I enjoy anything right now, I'll fall off the wagon and stop making progress. I don't have anyone in my life to support and encourage me. My family criticizes my weight loss. They try to tell me my diet choices aren't healthy while they stuff their faces with sugar. I'm single, and my only true friend lives in another state. All my other friends are coworkers, either focused on work or who have their own lives and their own friend circles to interact with. And this loneliness is one of the things that I want to correct, but I can't get past my weight. And whenever I'm out in public, I look at all the other happy people and just get depressed, sitting alone with my fatness. I don't even enjoy watching movies or playing games anymore. If I try to distract or entertain myself, I just start thinking about the fact that sitting on my butt all day is how I got this fat to begin with. It immediately makes me feel like I'm just putting the weight back on. I don't want to be fat and alone and depressed anymore. The loss of enjoyment of things that you used to love is a red flag for depression and anxiety disorder. That's something you should talk to your doctor about. I can't speak to that, but some good advice I've heard is to ask yourself, if you woke up tomorrow and your problem was solved, in this case your weight or your loneliness, what would you do? Then go do that thing. This applies to anything in your life. So imagine tomorrow you wake up at 200 pounds, your family is supporting your eating choices, and you feel connected to others. What would your day be like? If you say you'd eat your breakfast without guilt and then reach out to a friend to take a walk, then do that. It's a mental trick to start living your life now, not once you've reached a certain number on the scale. Another tip is to volunteer. Whatever you are interested in, there are lots of nonprofits that would love your help. You'll meet other cool people and become a part of something bigger than yourself. There's no substitute for the high you get when you help others. And good luck to you, and congrats on your weight loss. And that brings us to the end of the video, Narwhals. I really hope you enjoyed. If you did, please tap subscribe to join our awesome community, the Narwhals, and for more weight loss stories that help you stay on track. And here's our featured Narwhal of the day. My ID glow up, 324.17 versus 419.21.